How far are you willing to go? The drive, the sweat, the blood, the tears, your determination through the pain and all the suffering, people overlooking you, telling you that you're not good enough. You have to believe that you're great. And with you believing that you're great, anything you want to do, you can achieve. No one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. Keep driving. Keep uplifting yourself. Keep going. Keep going. Nothing, and no one can stop you. That goal you want, you can achieve it. How you inspire people is going to be up to you. Keep going. Never give up. Never give up. Keep going. Never.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy I got and we're here on 910 Sports TV once again. First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity because without Him, it would be no us to be able to have on this great platform to have great guests. So I'm gonna start from the top to the bottom. I'm gonna start with my man, the great, legendary, you know what I'm saying, all-time coach, Coach Goins, Lamont T. Goins. How you doing, brother?
Man, listen, you keep dropping that middle initial in there. I think it may come out on the won't ass. But no, man, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm glad we got our special guests on tonight and just looking forward to it. So I appreciate that.
And then on the bottom of the screen, I don't know if I want to introduce him. You know, he came in all brand new, cowboy hat on, and you know what I'm saying. You know, they come in like divas and stuff. But I'm gonna introduce him anyway. Cowboy's biggest fan. You know what I'm saying. My man, brother from another mother, baby mama favorite host, Jacob Anderson, Jacob the Great. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, glad to be in the land of the living. Another day, another chance to get it right. Let's get into it.
All right, all right. So go ahead and introduce this young lady so we can get this interview started and get it cracking.
All right, man. Tonight we have a special invited guest. President of the Women's D League, none other than Miss Michelle O's. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. Grateful
Yes,
and
yes.
blessed. Every day is a new opportunity.
That's right. That's right. So, man, listen. I know we had you on here a while back, but you've accomplished so much since then. So let's just take it back. How did you get into this position? This is a great position for you to be in and great for women's sports. So, how did all this come about?
Well, the CEO, Mr. B, we're long term friends. And he initially was working with the New York Knicks and the New York Liberty. And he just kept seeing the disparages between the NBA and WNBA. And he even approached their management a couple of times, just stating that they need to do better. They need to try to get their own D League, the put the word out, and it fell on deaf ears. So he came up with the idea of creating the Women's National D League. I've always been a fan of basketball. Started with the NBA, all favorite Detroit Pistons, the real Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas. So then women's basketball came on the scene. Cheryl Swoops, Cynthia Cooper, seeing that they were women at that level who could perform the way they do. Once he came to me with the offer, my interest was piqued.
Okay. So, man, that's a huge offer. So, how did it get started? How did y'all really get the ball rolling? The behind the scenes part of getting this ball rolling and then bringing it to the forefront. So, how did that happen?
Whew. It was basically one step at a time. Once we realized that there was a void there for women, we just started putting the word, putting fillers out at first to seeing how it was going to be received. Once we saw that there was a big audience who still wanted to pursue playing basketball, especially when they're not eligible or they're out of age for the NCAA. They still wanted to play. They didn't have anywhere to go. The WNBA itself, they only draft about 3%, and their draft pool is mainly D1 and D2. So that left a big pool for us to pull from with D3, JUCO, or even street ballers, kids who come out of high school who've continued playing street ball but never had a real avenue to pursue their career.
All right, okay. Over to you, Coach Going.
Hey, well, listen, man, this is fantastic, and I just want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. So, my question is this: women's basketball, well, college women's basketball in the last 3 years has just like gone to just the whole nother level, and I think it's because maybe the shift from being just UConn totally dominating to where South Carolina has come up and the things that Coach Staley is doing. So let me ask you this right here. So with the D League, just like the talent that, and I'm gonna lean into the South Carolina mode because that's who my wife and I always watch on Sunday evening. But from that perspective, can you tell us about when that player has like really done well in college, but not able to make it to the WNBA? Then you guys come along. How does that trend? Do they try out the WNBA, then they end up coming to your league, or is it just like they know coming out that, you know what, I'm not ready for the WNBA yet?
No, it's basically them not having the opportunity to be
Okay.
drafted to the WNBA. And then most of them are going overseas, and we hear the horror stories about being overseas. And once they come back to the States, most of them, honestly, they get a regular 9 to 5 job, but they still have that passion to play basketball at a professional level.
Wow. Now I know is let me now this is kind of I'm a logistics guy, so I got to ask this question: Is the venues too large for WNBA games, or should they be looking at, instead of playing in, like, I'm gonna say the Dean Dome, would it be better served if they play like in Carmichael, or would they play like in a Civic Arena so it's packed out, or is it large enough market to be able to go in and play in a place like the Palace or the Forum or the United Center?
It would definitely be baby steps on a smaller venue.
Good. Okay. That's what I was thinking, because sometimes you watch the game and there's people there, but then when they zoom out and it's just like, man, and then I think about, it's like, and just like the women's at Carolina, instead of them playing in the Dean Dome, they always play at Carmichael, the old auditorium, so therefore be able to pack it out. But just congratulations on your role. Is just fantastic. So with that, I'll kick it over to. He's already got his jersey on. I don't know what it says, but I know he's ready to take that jump shot. So I'll kick it to you.
Well, I got that old Lynn Bias jersey on,
Okay,
so
all right, you
I'm
good.
feeling a little powerful tonight. No, but Coach O's. So I'm gonna ask you this. With the explosion of the WNBA the last couple of years, or this attention that the WNBA has been getting because of the Angela Reeses and the Caitlin Clarks and everything, how has that impacted your league in a positive way?
It's actually impacted it greatly because we're like the intermediate from people who've aged out of the NCAA eligibility and those who haven't made it to that WNBA, or those who don't think they're 100% ready for the WNBA. So they still want to play. So we have matchups, we take it all the way to the championship, and that sort of give them their courage, so to speak, to reinforce to themselves that they are good enough for the WNBA.
Okay, so now we've seen, like, though, with the NIL and the transfer portal, when it comes to, especially with the male athletes, basketball, football, and whatever. So how, and we talk, we've had people on here all the time to talk about how we talk about, we see what we see on TV every day, but the thing that they don't talk about is how they're running out of basically scholarships and opportunities for, like, the high school kids and people coming out of college, and they're running out of opportunities. So basically, how has NIL and transfer portal impacted the D League in the women's side?
It really hasn't.
Okay, okay, and that's because of what reason? Why is that? Because it's just kind of separate to itself, or is it because is a different, like, what caused it not to have an effect?
I think it's twofold. I think it's separate in itself, and women's basketball still does not get the respect that it deserves.
Okay, now, so we're gonna stay there for a second, so because that's the thing, you kind of see a lot lately. I don't know if you've seen it last year when Stephen A. Smith kind of got jumped on by some of the women, for not, for ESPN not gravitating to it until the Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese situation kind of got where it got to. So, in your opinion, what do you feel like? Is it the sports commentators? Whose responsibility is it at this point to really put more attention on the women's sport?
Every business is responsible for its own marketing.
Okay, okay. So do you feel like that? So do you feel like the commissioner? Because in most sports, commissioners kind of get the raw end of the stick, or the the booze and the blame for when their league is not performing at the level it should be, or for whatever reason. So do you think that it's on the commissioner of the WNBA to do more instead of blaming like other entities, or do you think everybody as a whole, collectively as a whole, need to do better?
It is collective, but it begins with the top. So it definitely begins with the commissioner.
Okay, so how many teams do y'all have in your league?
We have 12 teams.
Well, okay, so playoff time. Is it four? Y'all take 4 or 6? How many times did y'all take doing the playoffs?
To the playoff, we take 4.
4. Okay, okay. All right, back to you, Jacob.
All right, so you do a lot, and I kind of want to get into the back office of the marketing, of the budgeting, of the creating teams in the Carolinas and Connecticut and in different places that I've seen you create teams because I've been following you for a while. So like on that part of the budgeting and the planning and even creating new teams, you know, what type of structure do you have to do that?
As for creating each team, it pretty much all starts off as a grassroots operation where we reach out to the community for fundraisers or to see how they would like to contribute to the league. May that be someone who wants to contribute for the uniforms, someone who just wants to be a sponsor, who wants to be a donor, just to build up the brand until we're able to get bigger names of sponsorship and donors.
Okay, and so for the sponsorship packages and investors packages and stuff like that. So what is the if you can put it in the simplest form, what are those boardroom meetings like? Because when you start a new franchise, there's there's a lot of people that you have to touch. You have to touch somebody from the financial world. You have to touch somebody from the marketing world. You have to touch somebody from the public relations world. You have to touch somebody, that kind of like runs the back office, with like the paperwork and the numbers and stuff like that. And so with you having to touch all that right there when it comes to the budget and stuff, what type of people do you look to hire on?
As you're breaking up a little bit. As for the breaking down of building up the back office of the franchise, is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, first step we look for we have a how can I put it? We have a standard operations. Let's just say the marketing department to start off with. We have a marketing team lead person. Our next step is to pursue interns. Interns for 2 reasons. So they can get the experience and they're not so much focused on the dollar value. They believe in the mission, they believe in what's going on, so they'll do their best. And we let them know that if everything works out, they do have an opportunity for employment. So once we get the team built up from the ground, we have a format for every department in the back office that everybody has to follow. For marketing, our guidelines would be first we allow them the creativity to brainstorm because younger people come up with things that us older people wouldn't think of in this time. But we let them know exactly what we're looking for. Say for if we was building a new team in Vegas, we would break it down to as to what actually is needed. How much would the venue cost? Where would the venue be located? What communities, what businesses can we reach out to sponsor with the marketing to help us get the word out there? So everything on every level pretty much begins at a grassroots.
Okay, okay, and so with that being said, if you're creating a team in Vegas, are you in consistent conversations with with the WNBA Vegas team? You know, are y'all consistently having meetings?
With the WNBA, no.
Oh,
The
okay, okay,
with the WNBA, we support them and everything that they've done and how far they've come. But as their own entity, there's still a lot they need to do.
mhm,
Our our long term goal would, of course, for our ladies to be drafted to the WNBA. But if they don't, we don't want that to be our only focus. And if it does not happen, the league falls flat. If that makes sense.
it does, it does, it does, and so the reason about connecting with WNBA
You're
because when the
breaking.
draft time comes, and can you hear me?
I gotta say something because you was breaking up.
Can you, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, so when that draft season comes, and and the girls that don't or the young ladies that don't get drafted, you know, does the WNBA send them to the D League, like sort of like the NBA?
No, we don't have a
Oh,
relationship with them like that as of yet. Our recruiting process, for lack of a better word, is reaching out directly to the colleges. We mainly focus on D3, D2, D3, and JUCO because those are the ladies who don't get the opportunity, as the WNBA primarily focuses on D1.
okay,
Wow.
okay, okay, okay. That's understandable. All right, Coach, going over to you.
Wow, that's amazing. I would have never known that they only look at Division One players. That's a definitely that's a oh wow. Didn't realize that. So here's my question in reference to like you said to the marketing strategy and being the grassroots. Is it like I call it barnstorming? Do you think that would be a way to spark interest? To, come to area to where I live in Virginia. And so, like in Henrico County, they have a facility that has 12 courts. Do you envision like your league coming to an area, like Richmond, just because one, Virginia doesn't have any professional sports, and people say, well, we're pretty close to DC if you live in that sector of the state, but there's no professional sports in the state of in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Do you guys are you opening to possibly coming in and just doing just try to feel what it feels for areas that don't have any type of professional sports?
It really depends on the state. If the fan base is there, yes.
Yeah, I mean, just because, like I said, what women's college basketball and the excitement. I don't know about everybody else on the show, but I tell you what, on Sunday afternoons, man, there ain't nothing like it, man. I rush in and I turn on the tube, and I'm like, all right, or I'm like down during the week. I'm like, who's South Carolina playing? And now, like this year, I'm like, I hate Fuwali's not there because she's at LSU. But the thing I make is because it's such, and I think Iconi, said that in his earlier question. With the explosion of the WNBA, you would think that people would be able to go, okay, and instead of me having to pay $400 or $300 to go see some good basketball, maybe it costs me $50 to $75 to go and see a great game and see a competitive game, and what makes so nice about women's basketball because it's most of the time it's played below the rim, so the average person can understand it, they can relate to it. So in that, now, so here's my next question. I'll get off of that soapbox. So as you walk in and you get that, when do you know, or how do you spot that talent? You walk in, and soon as somebody laces them up and they come down, and all of a sudden you like, man, they really need to they really need to get a shot at the next level.
Basically, it's all about how they carry themselves, what they do individually, as well as how they are as a team player.
Excellent, excellent. Now, dude, again, I apologize, but your teams are located where? If you don't mind running that down for us.
Oh, sure. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, DC, Georgia, the Carolinas, covers both North and South, um, Ohio, Kentucky, Minnesota, and Milwaukee and Philadelphia.
Man, well, you guys are in the heartbeat of. I mean, that's the I call it the Bible basketball belt, right? And
Oh,
that's that. It's just that's a great market. So in that,
not
you know,
Florida, sorry.
okay, and so so now here in the same thing now travel wise, how do do you guys go and you kind of barnstorm, or do you like go from Connecticut to Florida? Or do you just kind of make that migration down south on your schedule?
Make the migration on the schedule.
All right. So, and you fly, you travel by, but I mean, somebody's in the league and they say, okay, we're on the road. So they're on the road for the duration.
Most of the time it's by bus.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, I mean, that makes sense. It's almost like HBCU. They just don't have the budget to fly back and forth. They have to go, all right, I'm leaving A&T and I got to come up through and play Lincoln and all the way around. So, all right, thank you. All right, Connie, man, I see. You look like you're ready for a lob, man. I know you got your jersey on. Don't
So,
jump off
so,
that lampshade.
no, hey, I ain't trying to break nothing. Uh, so, uh, Coach, also, basically, who, if y'all don't already have one, who's y'all consider y'all biggest star? Because every league, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, whatever, boxing, everybody has a star that everybody gravitates to. That she's playing tonight. That might be the night the gym is packed. So, do y'all have a couple of those athletes?
We have one, Centuria. I hope I'm not butchering up her name. Oh, I should know her last name. Centuria Davis? Forgive me, I should know her name, but I think her first name is Centuria.
Ontario Davis. Okay. So, where did she come from? What college did she play at?
Oh, actually, she's not. She was a walk on.
Wow.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's one of the things that makes us so different than any other league. That you don't have to go to college. You just have the passion and have to have the skill to play basketball.
Oh, wow. So she came out off the streets, basically tried out, made the team, and became the biggest star. Okay,
Wow.
that's American dream for you right there. That's definitely that's a story that definitely need to be told because the reason why I say we would love to have her on just
Absolutely.
because just because of the fact that we get players on here all the time in high school and they break and even college they broken every type of record in college from the scoring record to rebounding assist and then for whatever reason they don't translate they don't get that opportunity at the next level and the three of us, and the other two guys that attested this, we're sitting here left scratching our head, wondering why, or if they do get a shot, it's at a D2, three school, three league, three two D2 or three D3 school. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but it just doesn't make any sense to us of how if you're the top dog at your school and you breaking all these records, in college or high school, and you're not getting a bigger opportunity. So we've always been baffled, and that's kind of what this show is based on: is trying to answer those questions for these kids that's not getting the opportunities that's deserved. So basically, how do y'all when y'all somebody like a star like that, have y'all tried to sit down and brainstorm on how to maybe capitalize off of it? Get her some commercials or what have y'all thought about the way y'all can maybe kind of maximize that the way the NBA had to do with Bird and Magic back in the day?
We've brainstormed it, but we're not at that level as of yet.
Okay, is it more because the resources that y'all would need to be able to get there?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So what in your vision or your goal, because you seem like the type of person that would have like a 5, 10 year, 15 year goal, whatever. In your mindset, what do you see as far as how many teams do y'all envision having over the long haul?
Okay, we're at 12 teams now. We would like within, I would say, 7 to 10 years to double.
Okay,
that
okay,
we would like to be more in talk with the WNBA as their official D League.
okay. And so also I was gonna ask, you look at somebody like Ice Cube in his league. And of course, Ice Cube has tried to campaign and he's tried to reach out to the NBA, and they pretty much then turned their back on him and saying we don't want to deal with y'all. As you're looking at somebody like Ice Cube, have you studied like anything about the way he does the big three? Because the big three kind of, took on a life of its own over the last 8, 9 years. But even Jacob asked me a couple of weeks, they've been around that long? I said, yeah, they've been around for a minute, and you've seen the growth. So have you seen anything about what he's doing that you feel like you maybe could implement or you would love to talk to him about?
Yes, he followed his own path, as you stated. People didn't want to mess with him. People didn't want to assist him in helping him go further with help. So basically, they did not want to give him a seat at the table. He built his own table.
Well, yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. All right, back to you, Jacob.
All right, so coach, what do you look for in a coach as far as what piques your interest about you hiring a coach for a particular team?
Piques my interest. Mm, you have to love the game first and foremost. Most of our coaches, they've played ball at one time in their lives, so they know what the players are going through on a personal and professional level. So that alone speaks volumes. And just the tenacity, they understand the mission of the league. They're aligned with the mission of the league. It's like there's no eyes in the league. Everyone is a team effort. Everyone moves as one. If you have that mindset, worth a shot.
Okay. And coach, talk about the tryouts. Like when you're creating a new team, um, how many different tryouts do you have?
We generally have a combine. We pick our players from there, and then if we're choosing a new team, generally it's 10 players on each team. We'll pick about 20 young ladies and have them play against each other, and then that will develop. The standing 10 will develop that new team.
Okay. And when you when you start your regular season off and you see the teams playing against one another, can you remember your most exciting two teams to see compete against one another?
Well, I'm from New York, so I'm always going to rep New York. So it's probably New York and Georgia because there's a lot of talent in Georgia that people would sleep on.
Okay, okay. I can dig it. I can dig it. That's interesting. That's interesting. Coach Goins, man, I see you looking for the L. Go ahead and dunk it back.
Man, look here. It sounds like you trying to update your resume. That's what that's what I was hearing. I ain't. I'm. That's what I'm saying. So, but Coach O, you were saying that in Georgia, there's talent in Georgia, and now, and you say you have two teams in North Carolina, or is it a combination team?
Combination team.
Okay, combination. All right, so that's pretty good. How that works there. So if you were go if so the Virginia, and again I'm stuck on Virginia because that's where I'm at. Right? There's some talent in the whole Tidewater area, and I'm sure you've got the you and people say, well, that's been a lot of guys, but not just guys. There's a lot of talent in the Tidewater area, and of course, military base, the shipyards. Just from a general population, and I think that that area could really use a nice shot in the arm. Again, because when you look at the melting pot and being in that region, that would be pretty nice. But here's where I want to go. So as you sit every day and you sit down and you're looking at talent and be able to go, man, my question is, has Nike or Under Armour or Puma or any of the big circuit folks ever come up and said, hey, you know what? We want to jump in. We want to do some shoes. We want to be able to do your gear. I mean, how did your uniforms and your apparel come about?
Uniforms and apparel are pretty much new designers who want a shot at just getting their name out there and who don't charge an arm and a leg. As of the big boys with the Nike, the Under Armour, not yet.
Wow.
But for your question regarding Virginia, our team that's in DC, that is pretty much for the DMV area, but it all depends on the traveling, how far an individual would want to travel.
Right, because again, I mean, Jacob, I'm gonna steal some of your thunder right here. And I can see that team coming down to like the Tidewater, Richmond area, and one of the North Carolina teams coming up and playing. And because again, where I live, I'm like 2 hours from DC,
Okay.
4.5 hours from Charlotte. So right in the middle. But I'm just as my wheels turn, I'm just thinking about sponsorship. How can your league get uniforms? Because out of all of those places and all of those big names, it's a market. It is a market that is out there. It's a market that is in need. Now you guys have teams up and down the East Coast, and who would not want their name on that jersey? So I got that duly noted. So with that, let me kick it over to this man with the jersey because he ready for a 3-pointer.
Yeah. Now my basketball day is over with, but I probably couldn't even get down the court one time
Come on,
without
man. You got
passing
one.
out.
You got one jump shot left.
Maybe. But anyway, so as far as like any kind of radio, even as local or regional or TV, when it comes to local regional, do y'all have any of that at all in any of the markets?
No, we're starting to reach out to some. We are trying to reach out to the ION network, and Whoopi Goldberg just launched an all-female network, female
Mm.
sports across the board. So we're reaching out to her as well.
Okay. So yeah, so well, like I said, eventually we might have some opportunities coming up for y'all soon too. We're supposed to get our own channel here, as far as like on that side, and we do have radio if you always want to just if you want to put it on the radio side, but we have those opportunities also. If it's something that you want to tap into just to get yourself going, whatever. So like I said, we always here to kind of help with it how we can, that whatever we can do to help, or
Appreciate
whatever. So I mean, I really don't have any more questions. What I mean, for the night, I kick it back over to Jacob, or whatever. If you have any more questions, Jacob.
Okay, so with you having these teams in different locations, what do you guys require from the players and the coaches and the coaching staff as far as community development, going into the communities? What is your requirement for that?
the community development is a plus. The community is going to be coming to our games. With a league, since we started out as grassroots, word of mouth is everything. So the players have to get out into the community. They have to shake hands. They have to make themselves known. They have to let the community know that we're here and we want to play with you. We are here to entertain families. That has to be known. If they're not going out there shaking hands and making themselves known, it'll just be another league, so to speak.
Okay. And so with the players and the coaches, have you kind of extended that conversation about linking up with the high school coaches and the middle school coaches and running youth camps as well?
Yes, that's basically in their contract. We have something called the Bigs and the Littles, where they're going out with AAUs. We're having family days where they're mentoring the AAU players, for lack of a better word. We have school giveaways, feed the homeless for Thanksgiving, hand out plates. The community part of the WNDL is very strong.
Okay. Back to you, Coach Going.
Well,
Alley oop.
man, oh man, don't make me don't, dude. I'm grounded forever, right? I'm like an old DC 7, and they just put me out there and took the wheels off of it. So, Coach O, you were talking about in the community, and that's a great thing. But from a marketing standpoint, is that something that you guys really need a, I'll use the phrase, a shot in the arm to be better, to be covered, to get that word out, to be able to say, hey, the team is doing, because again, here, when again I keep harping on Virginia, is, I'm blown away that there people are not getting in or not coming alongside. I'm not saying they're not, but just being able to, to be able, people don't know what they don't know. And what I mean by that is just say, man, you come to an area such as this and put on a camp, man. I could see the gym would just be like, you'd have to almost like turn people away, just because people see the ladies come in, they're in the uniform and they're professional. I mean, to a little kid, and they don't know that, they don't know that's not Cheryl Swoops. They don't know that's not Dawn Staley walking in. They just know that's a professional basketball team coming in. And just like Iconi says, show like this, you get your all-star, you get your top player, and say, hey, you need to get on with these guys, because and I'm here, and I'm just gonna be truthful, honest. These guys have done a great job with this entire platform, and I'm so proud to be on with these guys, and having guests like you. But if there's anything that we can do, that help you guys along the way, because again, as my wheels were turning when you're talking about, there's so much out there that's not being done, and I was just like, wow, no, don't sell the women's game short, because I'm here to tell you that people don't understand it. It's always fundamentally sound. It's played to where the average person can understand it, and it's such a wholesome game to where you can go in, you can really really learn, and it's a great avenue because everybody will not ever play in the WNBA and everybody won't play in the NBA. So just in my closing remarks, I just wish you Godspeed and everything that you put your hands to, and the league, and it's just fantastic. And I just want to thank you for your time. So, all right,
Thank you.
Iconi, I'll kick it over to you, man. Since you
Yeah.
already ran up down the court a couple times.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this: have y'all thought about, or have y'all done it already? Um, Implementing, a lot of sports implement the hip hop or the music culture with the games. And have y'all thought about maybe even reaching out to, if you go into a certain city like you're in Florida, North Carolina, finding out who, maybe have some of your team, find out who's like hot in that area, and maybe have them come out perform at halftime, and that, things like that maybe generate more of the younger crowd to come out, if whoever's that hot artist in that city is, or that state, that y'all maybe have a, enough of a budget to pay them to come and perform for the crowd at halftime. You know what I mean? So have y'all thought about doing things of that nature?
We have, and we've done it once or twice. What's hot in this newer generation, there's a lot of ego involved. Is quite different of the genre of talent of our day, where they would just want to come out just because it's for the community. So
Mm-hmm.
we may revisit it in the future, but it's not something that we're really focused on. We rather bring in new talent.
Yeah, yeah, and I understand, because I get a quick story. It's an artist that stayed. He went to my son's school, my sons and daughter's school, years ago when they was in high school. I'm not gonna say his name, but basically he was in the band, and he kind of got kind of big. And basically, the band director asked him to come back and perform at one of the halftime games. I think it was homecoming or something, and he wanted money. And basically, the principal was willing to give him the money. The band director said, "No, son, I basically took care of you, looked out for you while you was here, and the whole thing. You should be wanting to come back and get back to your school. Shoot, you live around the corner from the school, so it ain't like you had to come that far to come to the game to do it." So he's like, "No," and he literally, the coach had gave the principal had gave him the money already. He went back and went to the principal, and I went to the guy and said, "No, give that money back. You're not performing." You know what I mean? Because he tried to, the ego got in the way, and he wanted to, try to, poke his chest out about getting this money. And he said, "No, we're not paying you for this." You know what I mean, or whatever. So I get what you're saying, or whatever. But if Jacob, if he had any more questions, but if not, I was gonna, tell Coach to Miss O's here to, just drop any information, let us know when the games are, and all the information we need.
Well, now is the time that she can make her announcement. So we can do it.
Wait, I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
I said now's the time that she can give her closing remarks, Icon. So I don't have nothing
Okay.
to say.
All right.
Oh, want to thank everyone for having us on, helping us spread the word about the Women's National D-League. We are a winter league, so our playtime is from November through March. We are setting up a combine coming soon for what will be in August and for actually the end of next month. The location is being determined, so we'll get that information out as quickly as possible.
VA.
Anyone want to contact the league? We are on all social media, Women's National D-League. They want to reach out to me personally with any internships or resumes with coaching, and they can reach me at vpmickoldswndl@yahoo.com.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight, giving us your
Thank you.
time. Because it's crazy because we've been doing this for 6 years, and we probably only had a handful of people that's been on here 2 times, so on twice. So if any of us say that you bring somebody back, that must have meant they left an impression on us the first time. You know what I mean, for us to bring you back. So we definitely appreciate you coming on and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank
And
you.
like when we say that, we actually reaching out that olive branch and saying that whatever we can do to help, do not afraid to reach out to Jacob, and we do whatever we can to be able to grow your league. You know what I mean, as much as we can on our end.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
All right, everybody,
Have a
have
good
a
night.
blessed and good night. This 910
Have a great one.
Sports.
Good
Yeah.
night.
All right.
Welcome.